Maya-maya po ay muli natin masasaksihan ang ikalawang ulat ng ating Secretaries of the Cabinet bago ang nakatakdang State of the Nation Address ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa July 27. Ako po ang inyong lingkod, Yusek Rafi Ignacio mula sa Presidential Communications Operations Office at Public Briefing #LagingHandaPH. Silipin muna natin ang pinakahuling tala ng COVID-19 sa bansa kahapon ng alas 4 ay nakapagtala ng kabuang bilang na 57,545 confirmed COVID-19 cases sa bansa. Matapos itong madagdagan ng 634 cases, 6 ang nadagdag sa bilang ng mga nasawi na ngayon po ay nasa 1,603 total deaths na habang nadagma ng 88 recoveries ang mga gumaling sa sakit sa kabuang bilang na 20,459. Inyo pong mapapansin sa ating line graph na kahapon ay muli na naman pong bumaba ang reported cases na umabot lamang sa 634. Malaki ang diferensya nito sa mga nakalipas na araw kung saan mahigit sa 2,000 kaso ang naitala. Sa mga kasong naiulat kahapon, karamihan sa mga ito mula sa Metro Manila kung saan mayroong 360 recorded cases. Pangalawa ang lalawigan ng Laguna na mayroon na namang 58 cases, 32 cases naman mula sa Cebu, 23 cases sa Bulacan at 21 reported cases sa Cavite. Out of 57,545 total cases, mahigit 60% dito po o 35,483 ang aktibong kaso. Hindi na po kasama dyan ang bilang ng mga gumaling at pumanaw dahil sa sakit. Palagi natin tandaan na sundin ang minimum health standards na recommended ng ating health experts. Wear mask, wash hands, keep distance, stay at home. Para po sa inyong mga katanungan at concerns tungkol sa COVID-19, maaari niyo pong i-dial ang 02894-COVID o 02894-26843. Para naman sa mga PLDT Smart at TNT subscribers, i-dial ang 1555. Patuloy po kayong makibalita sa mga pinagkakatiwalaang sources ng impormasyon tungkol sa COVID-19. Maaari niyo pong bisitahin ang covid19.gov.ph. Para naman po sa ikalawang bahagi ng tatak ng pagbabago 2020, the Pre-SONA Forum ngayong araw, ito po ay nakasentro sa pagpapatunay ng pagkalinga ng Administrasyong Duterte sa ating mga Pilipino. Makakasama natin maya-maya sa Human Development and Poverty Reduction Cluster Forum, sina Secretary Rolando Bautista ng Department of Social Welfare and Development. At para naman po sa Participatory Governance Cluster Forum, makakasama natin sina Secretary Wendell Abisado ng Department of Budget and Management at si Secretary Eduardo Año ng Department of the Interior and Local Government. At para bigyan tayo ng kasagutan sa mga katanungan ng ating mga kababayan, makakasama na rin po natin ang inampang mga kalihim ng iba't ibang kagawaran ng ating pamahalaan. Bibigyan rin po tayo ng paunang mensahe ni Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles at mamaya ang pahayag ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Silipin na natin ang mga kaganapan sa Philippine Information Agency kasama si PCOO Secretary Martin Andanar. Salamatan din po natin ang kapisanan ng broadcaster ng Pilipinas sa kanila pong pagsuporta dito sa Laging Handa at siyempre dito po sa ating isinasagawang Pre-SONA Forum. Maraming salamat din po sa ating mga partner agency sa patuloy nilang pagbibigay suporta sa ating programa. Kasama na rin po dito ang Filipino Sign Language Access Team for COVID-19. Mabuhay po kayo. At antabayanan niyo po ang isasagawang ikalawang Pre-SONA Forum kung saan ay tatalakayin po ang mga mahalagang katanungan ng taong bayan na ibibigay po ng ating mga miyembro ng gabinete sa pangunguna na nga po ni DSWD Secretary Rolando Bautista. Kasama pa rin po ang DILG Secretary Eduardo Año at iba pa pong mga Cabinet Secretary bago po ang isasagawang SONA ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa huling bahagi po ng Hulyo. titingnan po natin o bibigyan daan na po natin ang ating mga cabinet secretaries sa bahagi po ng BIA o Philippine Information Agency sa pangunguna pa rin po ni Communications Secretary Martin Andanar. Ito po ang ikalawang pre-SONA forum ng nakaraang linggo po ay nakasama po natin ang mga sinasabing economic managers para pa rin po sa status ng ating bansa sa harap pa rin po ng nararanasang pandemya. Babalikan po natin maya-maya ang kaganapan sa Philippine Information Agency. Magbabalik po ang public briefing #laging handa PH.
Kaya natin to, kaya natin to.
Patuloy pa rin ang laban natin sa COVID-19. And together, we can beat the solusyon.
B. Bawal walang mask.
I. Isanitize sa mga kamay. Iwas hawak sa mga bagay.
D. Dumistansya ng 1 metro.
A. Alamin ang totoong impormasyon tungkol sa COVID-19.
Protektahan natin ang sarili at mga mahal sa buhay.
BIDA, be the solusyon sa COVID-19.
To our brave soldiers, I personally came here to thank you on behalf of the Filipino people for your undying service, especially during these trying times. As your Commander-in-Chief and as President of the Republic of the Philippines, I assure you that I will see to it that the truth will come out, be it in favor of the police or the military. Ang hiningi ko lang ang totoong nangyari. Rest assured that justice will be done to the family at sa mga tao dito sa ang mga trupa dito sa pulong.
upang mabigyan ng pangmatagalang tulong ang ating mga kababayang nais magbalik probinsya at makapagsimulang muli. Pinagtibay ni Pangulong Duterte ang Executive Order No. 114 o ang Balik Probinsya, Bagong Pag-asa Program.
Go home to the province, they have the means of going back there. And there is a promise. What is really very important is we give them hope.
Na-issue rin po kahapon ng ating Presidente Executive Order No. 114. Ito po ay yung sa Balik Probinsya, Bagong Pag-asa Program as a pillar of balanced regional development.
Noong ika-20 ng Mayo, ang programa ay matagumpay na nakapagpauwi na ng mahigit 100 residente pabalik ng Leyte na inaasahang darami pa. At dahil nais agarang tugunan ang mga pangangailangan ng ating mga stranded na kababayan, ipinagpaliban muna ang rollout ng Balik Probinsya Bagong Pag-asa Program upang ihandog ng ating pamahalaan ang hatid tulong.
I decided as a matter of strategy na isuspend muna ang ating rollouts for the Balik Probinsya Bagong Pag-asa to give way. Unahin natin kasi this was a very clear instruction from the President. Unahin, pauwiin na ang ating mga kababayan na stranded dito sa Maynila. And then, pagdating ng panahon na tapos na itong mga problema ng stranded, the Balik Probinsya will now take the second phase already in the succeeding rollouts and simultaneous rollouts to all of the provinces of their choice.
Pilipino to kababayan natin. Tanggapin ninyo and provide for sequestration houses if you want. Yung doon sila i-quarantine. Pero hati-hati tayo sa problema. Total, hindi naman kami nagkulang. Whatever you need, we provide. Kawawa naman. Tulungan ninyo yung mga Pilipino. To our brave soldiers, I personally came here to thank you on behalf of the Filipino people for your undying service, especially during these trying times. As your Commander-in-Chief and as President of the Republic of the Philippines, I assure you that I will see to it that the truth will come out, be it in favor of the police or the military. Ang hiningi ko lang ang totoong nangyari. Rest assured that justice will be done to the family at sa mga tao dito sa ang mga trupa dito sa pulong.
Ngayong panahon ng krisis, maging mas maingat at mapagmatsyag. Huwag maging biktima ng mga online scam. Huwag magbibigay ng personal na impormasyon at bank account number o password kahit kanino. Kung kayo'y makakatanggap ng tawag o email na humihingi ng mga ito, i-validate agad sa opisyal na hotline ng inyong bangko. Iwasang magbukas ng mga kaduda-dudang link, website o mobile app. Maaring magdala ito ng malware sa inyong mga computer at maging sanhi ng pagkakadnakaw ng inyong personal na impormasyon. Maging mapanuri sa mga peking email na nagbibigay di umano ng update ukol sa COVID-19. Hanggat maaari, sa mga opisyal na website ng gobyerno at news sources lamang mag-check ng mga balita. Kung nais namang mag-abot ng donasyon online, ugaliing i-research muna ng maigi ang mga institusyon na nais ninyong pagbigyan ng tulong. Kung sakaling kayo'y makabasa o makatanggap ng mga kahinahinalang mensahe, ipagbigay alam agad sa National Bureau of Investigation. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin ito.
Disaster Watch. Kung may bagyo, ugaliing tandaan ang itinataas na rainfall warnings ng Pag-asa sa inyong lugar. Ang yellow warning ay nagbabadya ng malakas na pag-ulan at posibleng pagbaha sa inyong lugar. Ang orange warning ay senyalis ng malakas pag-ulan at pagtaas ng tubig sa inyong lugar. Dapat maging alerto at handa sa posibilidad ng paglikas. Ang red warning ay nangangahulugan ng dagsa at malakas na pagbuhos ng ulan at matinding pagbaha sa inyong lugar. Kinakailangan ng ibayong pag-iingat at paghahanda sa inyong paglikas patungo sa ligtas na lugar. Huwag malito sa panahon ng kalamidad. Dapat laging listo. Upang mabigyan ng pangmatagalang tulong ang ating mga kababayang nais magbalik probinsya at makapagsimulang muli, pinagtibay ni Pangulong Duterte ang Executive Order No. 114 o ang Balik Probinsya, Bagong Pag-asa Program.
Go home to the province, they have the means of going back there. And there is a promise. What is really very important is we give them hope.
Na-issue rin po kahapon ng ating Presidente ang Executive Order No. 114. Ito po ay yung sa Balik Probinsya, Bagong Pag-asa Program as a pillar of balanced regional development.
Noong ika-20 ng Mayo, ang programa ay matagumpay na nakapagpauwi na ng mahigit 100 residente pabalik ng Leyte na inaasahang darami pa. At dahil nais agarang tugunan ang mga pangangailangan ng ating mga stranded na kababayan, ipinagpaliban muna ang rollout ng Balik Probinsya Bagong Pag-asa Program upang ihandog ng ating pamahalaan ang hatid tulong.
I decided as a matter of strategy na isuspend muna ang ating rollouts for the Balik Probinsya Bagong Pag-asa to give way. Unahin natin kasi this was a very clear instruction from the President. Unahin, pauwiin na ang ating mga kababayan na stranded dito sa Maynila. And pagdating ng panahon na tapos na itong mga problema ng stranded, the Balik Probinsya will now take the second phase already in the succeeding rollouts and simultaneous rollouts to all of the provinces of their choice.
Pilipino to kababayan natin. Tanggapin ninyo and provide for sequestration houses if you want. Yung doon sila i-quarantine. Pero hati-hati tayo sa problema. Total, hindi naman kami nagkulang. Whatever you need, we provide. Kawawa naman. Tulungan ninyo yung mga Pilipino.
Since the President signed Executive Order No. 2 Series of 2016 back in July 23, 2016, madami ng mga naging developments sa ating National FOI program. We have almost all of the 1,000 national government agencies, GOCCs, SUCs, and local water districts with their FOI manuals. And half of that are on our FOI portal, foi.gov.ph. Meaning to say, ang mga kababayan natin can ask information from different government offices online or on paper-based.
I tried to access the portal and then I tried to test it, and then I was hoping that just an ordinary program of the government, a new program, so maybe they're adjusting with the system. But after 3 days, I received an email from the FOI. My query was answered after 3 days, so I was very happy and satisfied with the program.
The top most requested information on the FOI program is legal documents. That makes up 42% of FOI requests. 39% of FOI requests are from datasets and statistics. 6% are personal information. So people are asking for copies of official SALN as well as accomplishment reports and travel reports.
From the past, kailangan kapag magre-request ka ng information, you have to personally visit the offices. Kahit galing ka sa malayo, even if you're from province, yun yung na-address ng FOI. Kahit nasan ka, as long as you have reliable internet connection, you can access information or you can request. Aside from that, it is somehow proactive. Kung yung request mo is na-request na ng ibang tao, makikita mo na siya doon. So you don't have to make another request.
We are able to harmonize the Executive Order number 2 on the freedom of information with the data privacy law. Napaka-importante lang ang poprotektahin ng ating mga opisyal at mga kasama sa gobyerno ay ang mga sensitive personal information.
Siguro ang pinagkaiba lang dun sa administrasyon ngayon na nakapagpasa nung FOIEO is talagang hindi sila tumigil. Hindi sila tumigil hanggat hindi nila na ipapasa kasi alam nila na kailangan yun ng tao na hindi lang para i-practice ng tao kung paano nila gagamitin yung right to information, but because the administration knows that this FOIEO will empower the people to practice their right to know kasi yun yung magiging gateway din para mas makapag-participate sila sa decision making.
It's a very successful program for me since I'm one of the first beneficiaries of the program, so I could attest of its efficacy and its efficiency.
Ang FOI ay hindi lang para sa transparency. Hindi lang siya tool para labanan ang korupsyon and to maintain accountability in government. FOI is for knowledge, it's for information, it's for transparency, and it's for empowerment.
Ang mga hinaing na inyong itinawag sa opisyal na linya ng pamahalaan, patuloy naming tutugunan at bibigyang aksyon. Ang inyong mga tanong, sabay-sabay nating hahanapan ng kasagutan kasama ang iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno. Dahil sa gitna ng laban na kinakaharap ng buong bayan, narito pa rin ang programang handang maksis ng bawat mamamayang Pilipino. At Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo, dito lang sa PTV. Handog namin sa inyo para sa bayan.
To our brave soldiers, I personally came here to thank you on behalf of the Filipino people for your undying service, especially during these trying times. As your Commander-in-Chief and as President of the Republic of the Philippines, I assure you that I will see to it that the truth will come out, be it in favor of the police or the military. Ang hiningi ko lang ang totoong nangyari. Rest assured that justice will be done to the family at sa mga tao dito sa ang mga trupa dito sa pulong.
Alamin ang guidelines na itinakda ng DepEd at SHED para sa academic year 2020-2021. Ang opisyal na pagsisimula ng klase sa mga pampublikong paaralan ay sa August 24, 2020 at matatapos naman sa April 30, 2021. Sa kabuuan, mayroong 203 days para sa school year na ito. Mayroong iba't ibang learning options na ang inilatag para sa mga mag-aaral. Ang mga pribadong eskwelahan ay maaaring magsimula ng klase sa alinmang araw mula sa unang Lunes ng Hunyo hanggang sa huling araw ng Agosto. Tandaan, bawal ang pagsasagawa ng face-to-face classes hanggat wala pang bakuna para sa COVID-19. Para naman sa mga higher education institutions, ang pagsisimula ng klase ay nakadepende sa education delivery mode ng institusyon. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon, bisitahin ang official website ng DepEd at SHED. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Upang mabigyan ng pangmatagalang tulong ang ating mga kababayang nais magbalik probinsya at makapagsimulang muli, pinagtibay ni Pangulong Duterte ang Executive Order No. 114 o ang Balik Probinsya, Bagong Pag-asa Program.
Go home to the province, they have the means of going back there. And there is a promise. What is really very important is we give them hope.
Na-issue rin po kahapon ng ating Presidente Executive Order No. 114. Ito po ay yung sa Balik Probinsya, Bagong Pag-asa Program as a pillar of balanced regional development.
Noong ika-20 ng Mayo, ang programa ay matagumpay na nakapagpauwi na ng mahigit 100 residente pabalik ng Leyte na inaasahang darami pa. At dahil nais agarang tugunan ang mga pangangailangan ng ating mga stranded na kababayan, ipinagpaliban muna ang rollout ng Balik Probinsya Bagong Pag-asa Program upang ihandog ng ating pamahalaan ang hatid tulong.
I decided as a matter of strategy na isuspend muna ang ating rollouts for the Balik Probinsya Bagong Pag-asa to give way. Unahin natin kasi this was a very clear instruction from the President. Unahin, pauwiin na ang ating mga kababayan na stranded dito sa Maynila. And then, pagdating ng panahon na tapos na itong mga problema ng stranded, the Balik Probinsya will now take the second phase already in the succeeding rollouts and simultaneous rollouts to all of the provinces of their choice.
Pilipino to kababayan natin. Tanggapin ninyo and provide for sequestration houses if you want. Yung doon sila i-quarantine. Pero hati-hati tayo sa problema. Total, hindi naman kami nagkulang. Whatever you need, we provide. Kawawa naman. Tulungan ninyo yung mga Pilipino.
Kaya natin to. Kaya natin to.
Nagbabalik po ang public briefing #LagingHandaPH. Silipin na po natin ang mga kaganapan sa Philippine Information Agency kasama si PSCOO Secretary Martin Andanar.
Patuloy pa rin ang laban natin sa COVID-19. And together, we can beat the solusyon.
B. Bawal walang mask.
I. Sanitize sa mga kamay. Iwas hawak sa mga bagay.
D. Dumistansya ng 1 metro.
A. Alamin ang totoong impormasyon tungkol sa COVID-19.
Protektahan natin ang sarili at mga mahal sa buhay.
BIDA, Pina Solusyon sa COVID-19.
Magandang umaga, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. May buntag. Welcome to Tatak ng Pagbabago 2020, the Pre-SONA Forum. Bago ang ikalimang State of the Nation Address ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte, kami sa Presidential Communications Operations Office ay narito upang ihatid sa inyo ang mga cabinet clusters upang ipaliwanag ang mga polisiya at programa ng gobyerno na tutugon sa mga pagsubok na dulot ng pandemya. Ngayong araw, tunghayan natin ang mga kwento ng pagkalinga at iba't ibang pamamaraan na sa pagkakataon na ito ay ipinamalas sa atin ng ating mga kababayan upang makamtan ang ipinangakong tunay na pagbabago. Sa pagpapatuloy ng ating Pre-SONA Forum, ating maririnig ang Human Development and Poverty Reduction Cluster, pati na ang Participatory Governance Cluster. Ano ang mga nakakasang programa para masiguro na ang pangailangan ng mga Pilipino ay natutugunan at ang boses ng bawat mamayan ay napapakinggan? Ating alamin dito sa Tatak ng Pagbabago 2020, the Pre-SONA Forum.
Sa pagbubukas ng taong 2020, kinaharap ng Pilipinas ang mga napakabigat na suliranin. Pinakamatindi na rito ang pandemya ng COVID-19 na nagbigay banta sa kalusugan at kaligtasan ng sambayanang Pilipino. Sa harap ng pagsubok, tayo'y nagkapit-bisig at nagbayanihan para sa ikagagaling ng lahat. Sa pangunguna ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte, puspusan ang paghahatid ng tulong at serbisyo ng pamahalaan sa mga mamamayan sa gitna ng dinaranas na public health emergency. Ang maagap at masigasig na pagtugon sa mga pangangailangan ng taong bayan ay patunay ng pagkalinga at pagmamalasakit ng Administrasyong Duterte sa bawat Pilipino, sa loob at labas man ng bansa. Bilang paghahanda para sa State of the Nation Address ni Pangulong Duterte, muling inihahandog ng Cabinet Clusters ang Tatak ng Pagbabago 2020, the Pre-SONA Forums. Sa pagkakataong ito, haharap sa sambayanan ng 6 na Cabinet Clusters upang ihatid ang mga tamang impormasyon at iulat ang katotohanan tungkol sa kalagayan ng ating bansa. Bitbit ang temang patunay ng pagkalinga. Layunin nitong sugpuin ang paglaganap ng fake news at disinformation. Sa unang bahagi ng Pre-SONA Forums, nariyan ang Economic Development Cluster na nagsusulong sa pambansang hangarin na muling umangat, bumangon at lumago ang ekonomiya sa pagkakalugmok sa sangasangang krisis na idinulot ng COVID-19. Kasama rin ang Infrastructure Cluster na pinapausbong ang infrastruktura sa bawat sulok ng bansa upang mapaunlad at mapabuti ang kalagayan ng mamamayang Pilipino. Sa ikalawang bahagi, nariyan ang Human Development and Poverty Reduction Cluster na nangangalaga sa interes ng mga maralitang Pilipino at umaagapay sa mga pangangailangan ng taong bayan sa usapin ng kalusugan, kabuhayan, edukasyon at iba pang mga serbisyo. Kasama rin ang Participatory Governance Cluster na itinataguyod ng isang transparent, responsive at people-centric na gobyerno para sa mas mabilis at epektibong paghatid ng serbisyo sa mga tao. Sa pangatlo at pinakahuling bahagi naman, nariyan ang Security, Justice and Peace Cluster na prioridad ang pagpapanatili ng kaayusan, seguridad at kapayapaan sa mga komunidad. Kasama rin ang Climate Change Adaptation, Mitigation and Disaster Risk Reduction Cluster na pinapahusay ang kahandaan at katatagan ng mga komunidad laban sa mga kalamidad at sakuna habang pinapaigting ang pagpapatupad ng mga pulisiyang poprotekta sa kalikasan. Sa 4 na taong pagsisikap ng Administrasyong Duterte na maisulong ang tunay na pagbabago, marami na tayong nakamit na mga tagumpay. Sinusubok man ng krisis ang ating bansa sa panahong ito, itutuloy natin ang maganda na nating nasimulan. Patuloy ang paghahatid ng mapagkalingang serbisyo sa mga mamamayang Pilipino. Sama-sama, iaangat natin ang bansa. Sabay-sabay, haharapin natin ang mas magandang umaga.
Social Welfare and Development Secretary Rolando Joselito Bautista, Interior and Local Government Secretary Eduardo Año, Budget and Management Secretary Wendell Abisado, Presidential Communications Secretary Martin Andanar, mga kabalikat ko sa gabinete, members of the Diplomatic Corps, partners in the private sector and civil society organizations, friends from the media, fellow public servants, mga kababayan, maayong buntag. It is an honor to welcome all of you to the Pre-SONA Forum of the Human Development and Poverty Reduction Cluster and the Participatory Governance Cluster, the second iteration of our three-part Pre-SONA Forums, all leading to the President's 5th State of the Nation address on July 27. This comes off the heels of the first Pre-SONA Forum, which we held last week and provided the public with the progress made by the government's economic and infrastructure clusters. These pre-SONA activities have three major objectives. One, to provide the data, figures, and the details that will contribute to a better understanding of the messages the President will deliver in his SONA on the 27th. Two, to provide an extensive report on what the President has accomplished through the departments and agencies of government, their regular programs, projects, and services aligned with the goals of this administration, as well as our response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Three, to provide you, our people, with the opportunity to raise your concerns directly to the President through his counterparts in the Cabinet. Taon-taon po may SONA. Ngunit taon-taon, nababatid din natin na kulang ang oras ng SONA para ilatag ang mga programa at gawain ng pamahalaan. These pre-SONAs allow us the opportunity to further articulate, comprehensively elaborate, and extensively explain what government has done, what it is doing, and what it is going to do to uplift the welfare of our people and address the challenges faced by our nation. In the first forum, Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III succinctly summed up these challenges when he said that we live in difficult and uncertain times, and that the COVID-19 health emergency is perhaps the toughest economic crisis most of our people will live through. This pandemic, he said, candidly, is something that no one fully anticipated and was truly prepared to deal with. Tunay ngang nasa gitna tayo ng isang kalagayang mahirap at walang katiyakan, at dala na ng pandemyang ito, tinamaan ng husto ang ating ekonomiya. Wala ni isang bansa sa mundo ang nakapaghanda ng husto sa pananalasa nito. This is a reality we are reminded of every day. Araw-araw, nilalabas ng ating Department of Health ang mga numero. These numbers remind us that we are in the midst of a battle that is claiming lives and taking its toll on the health of our people. They emphasize that we face an invisible enemy that has far-reaching consequences on the lives and livelihoods of every Filipino man, woman, and child. Araw-araw, ang magsisilbing paalala na tayo ay nasa gitna ng isang digmaang nagbabanta sa kalusugan at kumikitil ng buhay. Dinidiin ito na ang kinakaharap natin ay isang kalabang hindi man nakikita ay sobra-sobra ang epekto sa buhay at kabuhayan nating lahat. These daily DOH updates, however, do not fully capture the extent of the damage dealt by the COVID-19 virus. As our finance chief stressed last week, our unemployment rate in April of this year spiked to 17.7%. The subsequent shutdown of economic activities took its toll on local businesses, combined to bring down our revenues. For the first half of 2020, estimated tax collections from the Bureau of Internal Revenue and the Bureau of Customs dipped to 1.2 trillion pesos, 16% lower than last year during the same period. Ang mga numerong ito, bukod po sa mga daily update ng DOH, ay nakakabahala. Ngunit tulad ng nabanggit ko nung nakaraang linggo, The President and your government have long laid the groundwork for the economic recovery of our country. Ika nga ni Secretary Dominguez, in previous years, emergency spending and urgent borrowing might have been very difficult, but the economic performance of the Duterte administration prior to the pandemic, together with its approach to fiscal and economic management, made the country one of the strongest, most resilient, and credit-worthy economies in the region. Opo, nahirapan tayo, katulad ng mga bansa sa buong mundo. Ngunit dahil sa reformang pinansyal at maayos na pangangasiwa sa ating ekonomiya, bago pa man tumama ang pandemya, tayo ay isa sa pinakamalakas, pinakamatibay, at pinagkakatiwalaang ekonomiya dito sa riyon. Mga kababayan, hirap man tayo ngayon. May mga senyalis din na lumalaban at bumabangon ang ekonomiya. Tumaas po ng 4.4% ang mga koleksyon ng customs, evidence of increasing economic activity. Prior to the COVID-19 outbreak, the country received a BBB+ credit rating, the highest in our country's history. And even amidst the pandemic, international credit rating agencies have affirmed our sovereign ratings and have kept them at investment grade levels. Noong nakaraang buwan, tinaas pa nga ng Japan Credit Rating Agency ang credit rating natin from BBB+ to A-. Secretary Dominguez said it best. This is a vote of confidence in a sea of credit rating downgrades and negative outlook revisions worldwide. If the economic and infrastructure clusters gave us assurances of our economy's ability to rise above the challenges ahead, today, the human development and poverty reduction and participatory governance clusters will provide us information with regard to the steps government will be taking to provide the country's most vulnerable sectors with the social protection necessary to survive and thrive in the months ahead. In particular, the HDPRC, through its chairperson, DSWD Secretary Rolando Joselito Bautista, will be reporting what the cluster has achieved in terms of human capital development, poverty reduction, and enhancing the quality of life of every Filipino. Aside from the regular projects, activities, and programs that make up the HDPRC roadmap, Secretary Bautista will also present the cluster's accomplishments under the COVID-19 Adjustment Measures Program, the Social Amelioration Program, and similar programs aimed at mitigating the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Included among these developments are the Enhanced Partnership Against Hunger and Poverty Convergence Program, which is now helping a number of farmers and farmers' organizations amid the pandemic, as well as the Interagency Task Force on Zero Hunger, which I chair, and is now in the process of harmonizing government programs meant to ensure food security and reduce hunger so that we can say #goodbye gutom. Kasama sa mga bagong programa ng gobyerno ang Enhanced Partnership Against Hunger and Poverty or EPAP na siyang tumutulay sa mga magsasaka at mangingisda sa merkado na tumutugon sa hamon ng pandemya kasama ang Interagency Task Force on Zero Hunger ng ating pinangangasiwaan. Sa huling bahagi ng taong ito, lahat ng programa ng pamahalaan tungkol sa katiyakan sa pagkain at pagsupil sa kagutuman ay atin ng pag-ugnayin at pag-ibayuhin. The Participatory Governance Cluster, on the other hand, through its co-chairpersons, DILG Secretary Eduardo Anyo and DBM Secretary Wendell Abisado, will share the accomplishments and milestones of the cluster's member agencies towards the enhancement of citizen participation in government processes via strategies that transform the public from mere observers to genuine partners of government. It should be stressed that this cluster has also been instrumental in our fight against the pandemic through first, the development of the National Action Plan against COVID-19, and second, in its efforts to ensure that funds given to agencies and LGUs for COVID-19 response are properly utilized and its reporting mechanisms for these are in place. Didiinan ko lang. Ang participatory and governance cluster sa ilalim ng pangangasiwa ni Secretary Anyo at Secretary Abisado ang siyang naging susi ng agresibo nating pagsuong sa laban ng bansa kontra COVID-19. Following the presentation of these clusters, an open forum will follow to afford you the opportunities to direct your questions at the concerned department agencies, secretaries, and heads of agencies. Before I wrap up, allow me to extend my sincerest gratitude and congratulations to our partners who made today's PRISONA Forum possible: the Human Development and Poverty Reduction Cluster, the Participatory Governance Cluster, the Presidential Communications Operations Office, the Office of the Executive Secretary, and my fellow workers in the Office of the President. Mga kababayan, kapag sama-sama, kaya nating umahon. Sa tulong ng Diyos at sa magkaisang aksyon, tayo ay babangon. Maraming salamat po.
Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles. Ang ating pre-SONA ngayong araw, katulad ng ating pre-SONA noong nakarang linggo. Ang iba sa ating nakagawian dahil sa COVID-19. Ngunit hindi ito hadlang sa pagtugon namin sa aming tungkulin na magbigay ng tama at napapanahong impormasyon sa bawat Pilipino. Ito po ang pangalawa sa ating 3-part forum at ito ay pangungunahan ng Human Development and Poverty Reduction Cluster at ng Participatory Governance Cluster. Sa mga nakalipas na buwan, tunay na sinubok po ang cluster na ito. Paano nga ba natin tinutugunan ang hamon na dulot ng COVID-19 pandemic at sa paanong paraan natin ito mapagtatagumpayan ng sama-sama? Kasama po natin ngayong araw si DSWD Secretary at Head ng Human Development and Poverty Reduction Cluster, Secretary Rolando Bautista.
Chairperson, Secretary of the Interior and Local Government Eduardo Anyo, Secretary of Budget and Management Wendell Avisado, my fellow Cabinet Secretaries, members of the HDPRC, our friends in media, our dear beneficiaries, to our kababayans, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. 4 years into gearing towards bringing down the poverty rate to 14%, the country faced unforeseen challenges caused by the eruption of the Taal volcano and the global outbreak of the COVID-19. The health crisis alone has created deep impacts on the economy, as well as our fellow Filipinos' livelihood and well-being, with prospects of an estimated 10 million Filipinos losing their jobs, the repatriation of nearly 70,000 displaced overseas Filipino workers, and the increasing number of Filipinos experiencing involuntary hunger, among others. Gayunpaman, patuloy na nagtutulungan ang lahat ng ahensya sa ilalim ng Human Development and Poverty Reduction Cluster o HDPRC sa pagbangon ng ating kapwa Pilipino mula sa crisis na ating ngayon hinaharap. For the HDPRC, our utmost priorities continue to be the overall improvement of the quality of life of the Filipino people. By exploring innovations to beat the pandemic, and by strengthening the tried and tested pro-people programs. This is reinforced by our 4 core strategies on education, public health, social protection, and building capacities and opportunities for the poor and marginalized. Napakalaki ang naging epekto ng pandemya sa edukasyon ng ating kabataan. Kaya walang humpay ang HDPRC na masiguro na sa ilalim ng new normal, ang ating mga kabataan ay patuloy na may access sa alternatibong pamamaraan ng pag-aaral o ang blended at distance learning. In response to COVID-19's impacts on students, the Commission on Higher Education or SHED and the Unified Student Financial Assistance System for Tertiary Education or UNIFAS continued to make the tertiary education subsidy stipends available to its grantees to cope with the effects of the pandemic. The Technical Education and Skills Development Authority's expanded online program also serve as an alternate mode of technical vocational education and training learning platform during the community quarantine. For the effective and accessible alternative educational systems, the Department of Education or DepEd embarked on the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, providing learning opportunities to our students through printed or digital modules, online learning resources, and television or radio-based instruction without requiring them to come to school. Over 700,000 out-of-school youth in 2019 were enrolled under DepEd's Alternative Learning System, or ALS, half of which are from the 32 priority provinces of HDPRC. About 1.33 million students enrolled in state and local universities and colleges are now benefiting from the free higher education and tertiary education subsidy programs. To increase Filipinos' chances of securing gainful jobs or engaging in sustainable livelihoods. To increase Filipinos' chances of securing gainful jobs or engaging in sustainable livelihoods, TESTA has made great efforts in reaching more beneficiaries and expanding its scholarship programs from 2.3 million enrollees in 2018 to 2.4 million in 2019. Here are a few of our beneficiaries. Sa panahon ng pandemya, ang pinakamahalagang tungkulin ng HDPRC ay magarantya na nasa maayos na kalusugan ng ating mamayan at sila ay may akses sa abot-kayang serbisyong pangkalusugan. In line with the country's continuing battle against the pandemic, the Department of Health has undertaken concerted efforts to beat the disease with improved testing capacities from 1,200 actual tests per day in March to 21,000 per day now in 85 DOH licensed testing laboratories nationwide. Nearly 18,000 dedicated beds for COVID-19, around 18,000 health personnel deployed to health facilities needing augmentation, and continuous distribution of personal protective equipment or PPEs and other essential medical equipment for our frontliners. For the protection of public health, specifically in boosting testing and treatment capacities, we will focus on the continuous improvement of our healthcare facilities by increasing the number of fully equipped isolation rooms, critical care beds in hospitals, and other crucial medical equipment. The Universal Healthcare Program shall be our platform in strengthening our healthcare system resilience. We are also working on establishing the Philippine Center for Disease Control Designing Systems to anticipate and prepare emerging and re-emerging public health threats and improving vaccine delivery. In addition to the pandemic-related health measures, the HDPRC advanced its efforts in expanding universal health care to all Filipinos and in addressing hunger and malnutrition among children, teenage pregnancy, as well as the prevalence of non-communicable and preventable diseases. The National Nutrition Council reported that prevalence of wasting and stunting among children under 5 have significantly reduced in 2019. This success can be largely attributed to the Department of Social Welfare and Development's implementation of the Supplementary Feeding Program, which served 1.8 million children ages 2 to 5 in 2019. Also, the DepEd school-based feeding program served 1.7 million learners from kindergarten to grade 6, ages 5 to 12, for the school year 2019 to 2020. Under the Adolescent Health and Development, or AHD program of the Commission on Population and Development, or POPCOM, over 170,000 empowered adolescents in 2019 were equipped with knowledge and life skills to prevent early pregnancy, early marriage, and repeat pregnancy. Under the expanded program for immunization, the DOH reported that 69% or 1.5 million of children have been fully immunized in 2019. Kasama sa layunin ng HDPRC ay masiguro ang katatagan ng ating mga kababayan upang maiwasan na sila ay malugmok pa sa kahirapan sa panahon ng krisis. With the declaration of the community quarantine last March, the government formulated the Social Amelioration Program, or SAP, in order to provide emergency subsidy and other forms of assistance to the most affected families during the pandemic. More than 19 million beneficiaries from the formal and informal sectors received emergency subsidies with a total amount of over 106 billion pesos from the DSWD's Emergency Subsidy Program in partnership with the Department of the Interior and Local Government and local government units. The Department of Labor and Employment COVID-19 Adjustment Measures Program, or CAMP, CAB, Abot Kamay ang Pagtulong, or CAMP AKAP, and Tulong Panghanap Buhay sa ating disadvantaged displaced workers, or TUPAD, Barangay Ko, Bahay Ko Project, and the Department of Agriculture's Financial Subsidy to Rice Farmers, or FS. Payouts for the second tranche of the SAP are ongoing. The Department of Trade and Industry, for its part, carried out loan moratoriums, price monitoring, as well as processed loan applications for affected micro, medium, and small enterprises to support them in their recovery. Around 69,000 returning OFWs and 7,000 locally stranded individuals, or LSIs, were provided with the necessary assistance from the HDPRC member agencies. For the provision of social safety nets, displaced local and overseas workers will be prioritized in the coming months. We will focus on getting them home and providing them with employment opportunities, livelihood support, along with online skills, upgrading, and retooling programs. For the efficient and transparent delivery of social services, the DSWD is expected to strengthen and fast-track the implementation of social amelioration and continue to deliver its flagship programs in empowering individuals and communities to get back on their feet. Lastly, to tie all of this together, we will ensure the strengthening and implementation of risk-informed, evidence-based, and shock-responsive social protection systems to reduce the vulnerabilities of at-risk populations and improve their overall resilience. Even with the focused responses to the COVID-19 pandemic, the HDPRC also continued to implement its programs aimed at increasing human capital development and reducing poverty. DSWD's commitment to improving the poor's quality of life was clearly reflected by the increased budget for the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program, or PORPIS, from 89 billion pesos in 2018 and in 2019 to 109 billion pesos in 2020 to cover the higher monthly educational and health cash grants pursuant to the PORPIS Act. Complementary to the PORPIS, the Calahisid's National Community-Driven Development Program has empowered more than 19,000 barangays with improved access to basic services and better local governance in 2019. Under the Philippine Program Against Child Labor, President Duterte signed EO number 92, series of 2020, institutionalizing the National Council Against Child Labor. This led to stronger implementation of the program, consequently removing 2,000 children from child labor, while providing livelihood assistance to more than 2,400 parents of child labor.
It's 12 hours.
More poor senior citizens in 2020 are receiving regular grants from the Social Pension for Indigent Senior Citizens Program. From only 1.4 million beneficiaries in 2011, the program's coverage significantly increased to around 3.6 million in 2020, representing 43% or merely half of the 8.3 million elderly population in the country. The DSWD, through the Assistance to Individuals in Crisis Situation, or AICS, also extended immediate support to 3.1 million individuals in crisis situations caused by illness, death of a family member, natural and man-made calamities, among others, from July 2016 to June 2020. And as part of its mandate in the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NDRMC, we had provided assistance to disaster relief operations, which included assistance to sustain their basic food and shelter needs to around 3 million households from July 2016 to March 2020. As part of its effort to provide full, decent, and productive employment for Filipinos, the DOLE Integrated Livelihood Program, or Kabuhayan Program, provided livelihood grants to over 40,000 beneficiaries. Since 2019, the Department of Agriculture Special Area for Agricultural Development Program, or SAAD, has provided 683 livelihood projects covering nearly 28,000 individuals and over 800 farmer group beneficiaries. Under the care and guide for stability of TESDA, around 46,000 marginalized individuals, which include former rebels, drug dependents or surrenderies, indigenous peoples, were provided with skills training and employment opportunities to help them become productive members of mainstream society. About 122 shared facilities of DTI have also been established nationwide, helping communities in livelihood training and in the processing and product development. These facilities have been crucial in also assisting the 700 household beneficiaries of the DSWD's Sustainable Livelihood Program. Patuloy din ang suporta ng HDPRC para sa ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda upang masiguro na sila ay may access sa credit, kapital, at iba pang serbisyo. Ang pagsuporta sa sektor ng agrikultura ay susi upang masiguro ang tuloy-tuloy na supply ng pagkain. The national goal to support the agrarian rights of our small farmers by promoting equitable land distribution. Since July 2019, the Department of Agrarian Reform, or DAR, distributed nearly 30,000 hectares of public and private agricultural lands to more than 19,000 agrarian reform beneficiaries, helping them escape the vicious cycle of poverty and social injustice. The DAR also provided access to credit and microfinance services to over 131,000 agrarian reform beneficiaries, Nearly 3,000 farmers were supported with agricultural assets, infrastructure, technology, and machineries to increase their capacity and boost agricultural productivity. Currently, the country's Global Food Security Index report is below the global average score. However, there is a significant increase wherein we place 64th out of 113 countries, 6 levels higher than its ranking in 2018. But we continue to provide more support to the agriculture sector, as the country's score is still lower than the global average. In line with this, we have strengthened support programs such as the Target Actions to Reduce Poverty and Generate Economic Transformation, or TARGET, Child Nutrition Project, Coconut Rehabilitation Program, and Gulayan sa Paaralan to shore up food security and nutrition quality in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, these are indeed difficult times. Nevertheless, the HDPRC did not falter nor waver in our zealousness to serve our fellow Filipinos. Nais naming iparating sa ating mga kababayan, pati rin sa ating mga beneficiaries, na patuloy ang pagpapatupad at pagpapatibay ng mapagkalingang programang ikagiginhawa at ikakatatag ng ating mga kababayan sa panahon ng pandemyang ito. To my fellow HDPRC members, let us continue to work together and remain relentless in our objectives to build a stronger nation with empowered citizens. The whole-of-nation approach and our mutual support will ensure that no one is left behind in our journey towards recovery from this crisis. The pandemic may be the first and hopefully the last in our lifetime. So it is our fervent hope that our solidarity as a nation during these challenging times go down in history and reverberate in the future generations. Shukran, maraming salamat po. Mabuhay ang Republika ng Pilipinas.
Maraming salamat, Secretary Rolly Bautista, at maraming salamat po sa lahat ng ating mga frontliners na bumubuo sa inyong cluster. Tunay na kagitingan ang inyong ipinakita upang masiguro na nagagampanan natin ang ating tungkulin bilang mga lingkod bayan. Ang pagsiguro na ang pangailangan ng taong bayan ay naririnig at ang bawat boses ay natutugunan ay malaga para sa isang demokrasya. Ipinangako ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte ang isang gobyerno may puso at marunong makinig. Ano nga ba ang mga natugunan na at mga methodology ng ating gobyerno upang malapit ang ating administrasyon sa publiko? Ating alamin sa Participatory Governance Cluster na pinangungunahan nila DILG Secretary Eduardo Anyo at Budget Secretary Wendell Abisado.
My fellow countrymen, it comes as no secret that our intensified drives to establish peaceful, safe, and progressive Filipino communities bore us much fruit before our country was beleaguered by the COVID-19 pandemic. Illegal drug personalities, criminals, armed communist rebels, terrorists, and violent extremists quake in their boots because of our iron-willed crackdown on the lawless. They paid the consequences, but were also given hope to be restored. So I thank you, our Filipino people, for serving as our eyes and ears on the ground and for reporting questionable and criminal behavior to our emergency hotline 911. Gamit ang hotline 8888 at People's Law Enforcement Board, unti-unti nating naituwid ang mga baluktot sa sistema at napanagot ang mga tiwaling kawani ng pamahalaan. Moreover, by speaking out freely during our public consultations last year, you helped our local government units craft policies, projects, and programs tailored to fit the needs of the people. The online Talakayan series is also available for open discussions on development and government planning. You also help us monitor the progress of our local infrastructure and development projects by using our Development Life app and Citizen Satisfaction Index system. Thanks to you, good governance and public service delivery became more transparent, efficient, and people-centric. At dahil sa inyong pakikilahok sa advokasya ng mga ahensya ng pamahalaang nangangasiwa sa kanilang kapakanan, ay mas nabigyan boses ang mga kabataan, kababaihan, at mga kapatid nating Muslim. And in safeguarding the environment, your active engagement likewise help us ensure that tourist spots like Boracay, El Nido, Siargao, and Manila Bay remain ecologically healthy and sustainable. Traffic decongestion would also be difficult without your reports on road obstructions. All these successes led to laudable trust and approval ratings in the year 2019 and highly raised our hopes and aims for 2020. But scarcely have we made headways in our 2020 goals. Formidable disasters and a public health crisis not only destroyed much of our plans for the year, but more importantly, demolished our normal way of life. Sa ngayon, naharap tayo sa pandemyang hindi basta nagagapi, sapagkat hindi natin nakikita ang kalaban. It walks among us, lives among us, and even follows us into our homes. Sumabay rin dito ang problema sa food security, water shortage, at maging ang iba pang mga banta sa kapayapaan, kaligtasan, at seguridad ay nagsanga na rin. And in the midst of all these problems, poverty, joblessness, and an economic slump have pushed us into a humanitarian crisis difficult to resolve. Yet, despite all these present challenges and dangers, we saw the strength of the Filipino Bayanihan spirit shine through. Volunteers manned health checkpoints and isolation centers, cook food for the less fortunate, pack PPEs for frontliners, and open their homes for those who had nowhere to go. Indeed, your generosity is awe-inspiring and laudable to witness. I also salute all our medical practitioners, uniformed services, cooks and service crews, couriers and delivery personnel, and all the frontliners who continue to hold the line for our country's survival. We truly have no shortage of heroes. And while the government is doing its best to fight COVID-19, we likewise admit that we cannot untangle this mess alone. Thus, we want to thank you for filling in the gaps and helping us patch up the problems we have encountered thus far. Indeed, these overwhelming circumstances will only relent once a vaccine or cure is fully developed. Thus, a whole-of-nation approach is our key to containing this pandemic. We strongly believe that the most successful solutions to any problem, COVID-19 or otherwise, are those which have the strong support of citizens. In fact, the Participatory Governance Cabinet Cluster has just released a resolution affirming our commitment to integrate citizen engagement in delivering public goods and services. Kaya naman, hinihingi namin ang inyong pangunawa, pagtulong at pakikibahagi habang patuloy ang ating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte, ang pamahalaang nasyonal at mga lokal na pamahalaan sa paglaban ng pandemya. Help us ensure participative and effective governance as we undertake to implement the National Action Plan for COVID-19. Join us in our contact tracing efforts as we detect, isolate, treat, and reintegrate COVID-19 patients. Tulungan ninyo kami magpatayo at magpatakbo ng mga hospital, isolation units, at testing centers habang isinasagawa ng pamahalaan ang expanded targeted mass testing sa mga posible pang tamaan ng sakit. Moreover, I ask those with more to continue sharing your blessings to struggling Filipinos and to help us think of ways to quickly and safely return our locally stranded individuals and repatriated overseas Filipinos back to their families. Huwag din kayo matakot, mag-alinlangan magsumbong at magreklamo laban sa mga uniformadong hanay o lokal na pamahalaan na lumalabag o may pagkukulang sa pagpapatupad ng batas at mga patnubay ng IATF-EID. Our Bantay Corruption Program is there to uproot the abusive and corrupt in the government, especially in agencies directly attached to the DILG. Meanwhile, we at the government, the department, and other partner agencies, including the Philippine National Police, are here to take action on your grievances. And we assure you that we, including our LGUs and barangays, will be transparent and accountable in every decision and action we take. Only by working together can we ensure the continued integrity and excellence of our institutions. Moreover, report fake news propagators, market abusers, violence perpetrators, and other questionable behavior as these peace spoilers threaten to unravel the progress of our COVID-19 response measures. And further, as we bring a harmonious resolution to armed conflict in the country, support programs like the C4 Peace, RCSP, COCPD, ECLIP, and PCBEI, because this highlights good and participative governance as well as economic development in ushering an era of peace and security in the Philippines. At ngayon, batas na ang anti-terrorism law. Mas magiging mahimbing ang mga gabi dahil alam natin ligtas ang ating mga anak laban sa mga nagbabadyang nakawin ang kanilang kinabukasan. Our children deserve to be raised in safe and secure communities, so let us build them an environment where they feel free to dream and aim for a better future. And now that we are gradually reopening our country to trade, industry, and public transportation, we ask our private sector friends to support our Balik Probinsya program by investing in the provinces and providing opportunities for locals. Together, let us inspire countryside development and empower our local government units to create a brighter future ahead. Mga kababayan, ang landas natin ngayon ay puno ng mga matitinding pagsubok, and we cannot remain stagnant for too long. Neither can we afford to have a second wave of COVID-19 infections. Truth be told, our situation feels like walking across a tight rope. Kailangan balanse at naaayon ang ating mga desisyon at takbang sa pangangailangang panahon. So we entreat everybody to follow the minimum health standards. And while we gear up to tread a better normal, let us be disciplined and obedient to the motherland's rules and regulations. Let us unite to lift this country out of the mire and carry it on our shoulders the way our ancestors did. This is our home, and we must awaken spirit of bayanihan among us. And by keeping it alive, we have a legacy of resiliency and strength. That being said, we in the Participatory Governance Cluster call on the Filipino citizenry to actively partake in nation building. We believe that it is the people who hold the power to mold the country and the future awaiting it. So let us all be responsible and someday pass on a nation that our children muli.
To my fellow cabinet members, colleagues from national government agencies and local government units, civil society organizations, people's organizations, the academe, business sector, media, development partners, and to my fellow Filipinos who are watching us today, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Sa biglaang pagdating ng COVID-19 sa ating bansa, marami po sa ating kapwa Pilipino ang lubos na naapektuhan, lalo na ang mga mahihirap at mga miyembro ng marginalized groups. Marami po ang nawalan ng trabaho dahil sa pagbagal ng ekonomiya, gawa ng pagsasara ng mga negosyo, pagsuspinde ng mga paaralan, at dahil sa mahigpit na pagbabawal sa mga pagtitipon. At naiintindihan po kayo kung lubos kayong natatakot sa panahon ng pandemyang ito at naguguluhan sa kung ano paman ang maaaring mangyari. Kaya naman sa panahong ito, higit na mas kailangan ng gobyerno na pagtibayin ang inyong tiwala sa pamahalaan sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng sapat at tamang impormasyon at sa patuloy na pakikinig at pagtugon sa inyong mga hinaing. Kinakailangan ding palakasin ang kapasidad ng mga lokal na pamahalaan upang tuluyan nating masugpo ang COVID-19 pandemic. Para magawa ang lahat ng ito, mahalaga po na gumamit tayo ng tinatawag na whole of society approach. Ibig sabihin, mahalaga na magtulungan ang bawat antas ng gobyerno mula sa barangay hanggang sa pamahalaang nasyonal upang matiyak natin na ramdam ng bawat Pilipino ang mga programa at proyekto ng gobyerno para sa kanila. Mahalaga rin na magtulungan ang pribadong sektor, gobyerno, at mga civil society organizations upang mapagtagumpayan natin ang pagsugpo sa COVID-19. Kaya naman noong Marso, ipinasapol ng Kongreso ang Republic Act No. 11469 o ang Bayanihan to Heal as One Act at binigyan ng ating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte ng kapangyarihan na gumamit ng temporary emergency measures upang tugunan ang health emergency, iwasan ang malalang epekto nito at masuportahan ang pangangailangan ng taong bayan. Marami na po tayong nagawa. Kaya naman, hayaan nyo na aking maibahagi sa inyo ang ilan sa mga transparent, accountable, at participatory initiatives ng ating pamahalaan laban sa COVID-19. We have continued to uphold budget transparency in our COVID-19 budget through proactive disclosure of the amounts augmented, reprogrammed, reallocated, and realigned to fund priority programs, activities, and projects being implemented in response to the pandemic. Ibig sabihin po nito, maaari niyong makita sa aming DBM website kung saan-saang ahensya napunta ang budget at kung para saang programa o proyekto dapat itong gamitin. Makikita niyo rin kung saan kinuha ang ating budget at kung magkano ang natanggap ng bawat ahensya. Sa ngayon, nakapagbigay na po tayo ng 374.89 billion pesos sa iba't ibang ahensya ng pamahalaan para suportahan ang kanilang mga programa recipient agencies, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, received the largest share in the amount of 200.98 billion pesos for their social amelioration program, benefiting around 23 million low-income households in the country. Other agencies such as the Department of Labor and Employment and the Department of Agriculture received 12.59 billion and 11.10 billion respectively to support their programs for displaced formal and informal workers, overseas Filipino workers, and affected farmers and fisherfolks. We also provided a budget of 51 billion for the Small Business Wage Subsidy Program, which aimed to benefit affected micro, medium, and small enterprises, or MSMEs, through the Department of Finance. To support the country's healthcare capacity, the Department of Health received an allotment of 48.23 billion to fund the agency's immediate and continued COVID-19 response programs, as well as for the procurement of test kits and PPEs. 37.5 billion was released as bayanihan grants to provinces, cities, and municipalities. And of this amount, 7.6 billion were already liquidated by 386 local government units. Bulk of the liquidated 54.24% went to food assistance and other relief goods for affected households, followed by procurement of hospital equipment and supplies at 9.63%, and other COVID-19 related PPEs and expenses at 8%. The Department of Education also received 10.91 billion for its Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, or BALCP program, which aims to ensure educational continuity in this time of crisis by adopting multiple learning delivery modes, such as distance learning and blended learning, among others, while ensuring the health, safety, and welfare of all learners, teachers, and personnel. The remaining 2.58 billion was released to other agencies, including the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Trade and Industry, Department of Foreign Affairs, and the Department of the Interior and Local Government, among others. Aside from upholding budget transparency, the executive branch also publishes and submits a weekly bayanihan report to the Joint Congressional Oversight Committee, which contains updates on government initiatives being maintained or implemented pursuant to the Bayanihan Law. Maliban sa pagsisiguro na transparent po tayo sa ating COVID-19 budget, meron din pong initiatives ang gobyerno kung saan mas pinadali natin ang access sa mga programa at proyekto ng pamahalaan. The Presidential Communications Operations Office, or PCOO, created an official COVID-19 response website, covid19.government.ph, which serves as a one-stop shop for basic comprehensive information about the COVID-19 pandemic and the initiatives of the national government to address its impact. The Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, imposed a price freeze on basic necessities and prime commodities, established a COVID-19 rapid response team to answer queries and facilitate movement of cargoes among quarantine control points. The agency also conducted 818 Kadiwa Descuento caravans to make products more accessible to consumers in 2,974 barangays, benefiting 272,837 households, even amid the lockdown restrictions. DTI also brought its services down to the barangay level through the livelihood seeding program, negosyo serbisyo sa barangay, benefiting 632 barangays and 4,824 MSMEs. Apart from the proactive response of various implementing agencies, it is also important for the government to provide a platform for citizens to give their feedback and in turn be able to have a holistic understanding of the situation. Napakahalaga na makinig ang gobyerno sa inyo para po maitama ang mga mali, mapunan ang mga pagkukulang at mas mapabilis ang implementasyon ng mga programa laban sa COVID-19. Kaya naman, marami din po tayo initiatives kung saan ang gobyerno ay bukas at nakikinig sa mga gusto ninyong ipahiwatig sa pamahalaan. The PCOO, together with the Office of the Presidential Spokesperson, or OPS, conducts daily press briefings with the Malacanang Press Corps to allow the public to ask questions and seek clarifications directly from government officials regarding COVID-19 measures. The National Economic and Development Authority also conducted online public surveys to rapidly assess the impact of the pandemic and of the enhanced community quarantine imposed in the country. The survey results, among others, were used to craft the We Recover as One report, which provides recommended policies, programs, and strategies to rebuild public confidence and to facilitate the transition to the new normal. The National Anti-Poverty Commission engaged 46 basic sectors and kasambayanihan volunteers to ensure that government assistance reaches those who are in need during the pandemic. Moreover, a post-distribution monitoring tool was developed to allow citizens to provide feedback on the effectiveness of the cash, food, and non-food assistance under the government's social amelioration program. Let me also share with you other accomplishments under the PGC roadmap, which aims to create more spaces for public dialogue and response, as well as to provide adequate resources for building capacities. The government pushed transparency and citizen engagement to its peak through the Freedom of Information Program, where more than 22,843 requests from the public were submitted. Out of all these requests, 49% or 11,162 were completely acted upon as of May 2020. There were also efforts to localize the FOI program, and as of date, about 25 local government units have already passed their local FOI ordinances. On another front, our participatory governance initiatives are also making waves at the international level. Out of 117 countries evaluated for the 2019 Open Budget Survey, the Philippines secured the top spot in Southeast Asia for budget transparency, making us the most fiscally transparent country in the region while ranking 10th place worldwide. This implies that we were able to make budget information publicly available in a comprehensive and timely manner through the publication of all 8 key budget documents, such as the enacted budget and the citizens' budget, among others. The Philippines is also the only country in the world where citizens are party. This is being done through the Citizen Participatory Audit Program of the Commission on Audit. The CPA program was expanded to include implementation validation of audit recommendations by COA and CSO representatives. The Commission also conducted 6 CPA dialogues and engagements in 2019. Because of all these efforts, the Philippines remains to be recognized as a global leader in the open government space and in our experiences that are continuously being shared and cited in various global and regional platforms such as the Open Government Partnership, Global Initiative for Fiscal Transparency, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, among others. Ang lahat po ng ito ay nagawa ng gobyerno dahil na rin sa tulong ng iba't ibang grupo at organisasyon na marapat lamang na ating pasalamatan. Let me therefore also acknowledge the contributions made by the private sector, the civil society organizations, people's organizations, our development partners, the academia, media, and by the citizens themselves in this fight against COVID-19. They have contributed cash, food, and non-food assistance, such as cash subsidies, food packs, relief goods, medicines, medical supplies, PPEs and testing kits, quarantine facilities and necessities, among others, to help those affected by the pandemic. These contributions have enormously helped the government manage the health crisis and mitigate its impact. Kaya naman, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng inyong kontribusyon at ng inyong tulong. Even with all these initiatives and accomplishments, though, President Duterte highlighted the challenges we continue to face time and again. And these are: 1, improving frontline service delivery; 2, building open and responsive public institutions; and 3, increasing mechanisms for information dissemination. That is why, for our future directions, we aim to undertake a more strategic and convergent approach in promoting participatory governance through the revision and enhancement of the clusters, programs, and projects under the PGC roadmap. Moreover, bulk of the fiscal year 2021 budget will be reprioritized towards saving lives and protecting communities while making our economy stronger and more agile by further buttressing the healthcare system, ensuring food security, and enabling digital government economy, as well as helping communities to adjust to the new normal. Given the risks and the unknowns we face during this pandemic, we acknowledge that so much more needs to be done. At para po patuloy nating malabanan ang COVID-19, kailangan po ng gobyerno ang tulong ninyo. Our way towards a new and better normal must be all about using evidence-based and faith-based approach in our responses and about delivering more concrete, felt, and transformative results through citizen participation. Closing feedback loops, promoting active participation, and ensuring sustainability and irreversibility of our successful reforms. Through a much stronger and genuine participation and partnership with our citizens, we at the Participatory Governance Cluster of the Cabinet will take more concrete action steps to ensure that the government remains transparent and efficient in response to the needs of our citizens during this critical period. Since at the end of the day, what matters most for our citizens is to know and truly feel that the government is there for them, we will deliver efficient and effective public services, listen and respond, and serve and protect and give the most that the government can. Uulitin ko po, nandito lang ang gobyerno na at damayan kayo at higit sa lahat, ipadama ang patuloy na pagkalinga para sa inyo. Tayo po ay magtulungan na labanan ang COVID-19. And with the love, mercy, and compassion of our Almighty God, we shall overcome. Maraming salamat po ug sa makausapa. Mayong hapon kaninyong tanan. God bless us all.
Ating narinig po ang mga ulat mula sa Human Development Cluster at Participatory Governance Cluster. Maraming impormasyon ang naibigay po sa atin ngayon, ngunit may mga katanungan pa rin ang taong bayan. Kaya naman, we will open the floor to questions that are frequently asked to our clusters. Mga kasama natin via Zoom, sila Secretary Rolly Bautista, Secretary Francisco Duque III, Secretary Isidro La Peña, Secretary Fortunato de la Peña, Secretary Leonor Briones, Secretary Silvestre Bello, Secretary Noel Felonco, Secretary Francisco Acosta, Secretary William Dar, Secretary John Castriciones, Chairperson Prospero de Vera, Chairman Alvin Feliciano ng PCUP, Commissioner Sandra Montano ng PCW, Undersecretary Jesus Mateo ng DepEd, Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere, Undersecretary Gerardo Bayugo ng DOH, Undersecretary Antonio Gallardo ng PLLO, Secretary Hermogena Esperon, Assistant National Statistician Wilma Guillen ng PSA, Undersecretary Janet M. Lopez ng MINDA, Undersecretary Marilyn Pintor ng DSHUD, Speakers Secretary Eduardo Emanio, Secretary Wendell Avisado, Secretary Ramon Lopez, Undersecretary Rosemary Edilion ng NEDA, Secretary Fortunato de la Peña ng DOST, Secretary Diones. Kasama pa rin po natin Attorney Sai Damen Pangarungan ng NCMF, Undersecretary Jesus Mateo ng DepEd, Undersecretary Jacinto Paras ng PLLO, Assistant Secretary Christian Ablan ng PCOO at FOI, at si Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles. Unang katanungan po natin para kay Cabsec Nograles. How do you ensure unity and coordination within the clusters in the attainment of the administration's overall objectives and goals?
Maraming salamat, Secretary Martin. Actually, ang ating mga clusters, meron po silang Cabinet Cluster Secretariat. So, bawat cluster, meron po tayong secretariat doon. At meron din po tayong tinatawag na Cabinet Cluster Secretariat System kung saan nagmi-meeting ang lahat ng secretariats ng lahat ng clusters para pag-usapan kung ano na yung mga updates and accomplishments at ang mga commitments ng bawat cluster at syempre para synchronized at coordinated ang lahat ng mga efforts po natin. Pangalawa po, meron din po tayong syempre sinusuportahan natin ang convergence budgeting. So kung saan meron mga programs, activities, or projects na pwedeng mag-converge between and among different agencies and departments, ito po yung binibigyan din natin ng at ang DBM, sinusuportahan din nila itong convergence budgeting, syempre. Pangatlo po, meron din po tayong tinatawag na Cabinet Assistance System kung saan yung mga matters, issues, and concerns na kailangan pong desisyonan ng ating Pangulo o maging ng kanyang gabinete ay pinag-uusapan po natin doon sa Cabinet Assistance System. Kung ma-iron out natin at ma-resolve natin yung issues doon, then i-resolve po natin sa level na yon. Pero kung hindi, ay inaakyat po natin for agenda sa Cabinet meeting. Kung saan, hintayin natin yung magiging desisyon ni Pangulo at yung kanya pong direktiba. At syempre pa, itong ating pre-SONA forums, isa rin po itong paraan kung paano na-update ang ating accomplishments, paano na-assure na synchronized po at coordinated ang lahat ng efforts ng gobyerno at nire-report natin sa taong bayan ang lahat ng ito for constant updating po sa inyo.
Cabinet Secretary Nograles, ang susunod po nating katanungan ay para po kay DSWD Secretary Rolly Bautista. What is the DSWD's effort to cushion the impact of COVID-19 and prepare for future pandemics?
Wala siyang sama.
To the Bayanihan, to Heal Us One Up, the DSWD has been mandated to implement social amelioration measures to provide subsidy for the basic recovery of most affected families and individuals. Social amelioration measures of the DSWD include AIX, augmentation of food and non-food items, sustainable livelihood program, social pension for indigent senior citizens, supplementary PD program, and the emergency subsidy program as the core. We are continuously improving the systems to ensure the timely implementation of all these programs, activities, and services, including simplifying our process to give our kababayans the help they need as possible. And while we trust that these interventions are crucial in cushioning the effects of the pandemic, we also believe that it is high time to approach key issues from a systems-wide approach rather than a program. That is why we are doing the best we can to improve our strategies and policies so that our agency will be better prepared and our people less vulnerable and more resilient to risks brought about by the pandemics and disasters.
Thank you so much, Secretary Rolly Bautista. Ang susunod po na katanungan ay para po kay Department of Health Secretary Francisco Duque. What is the government's integrated health program to respond to COVID-19 and future pandemics?
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Ginoong Kalihim Martin Andanar ng PCOO at sa ating po mga kasamang mga kapwa ko, miyembro ng kabinete ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Ang amin pong pagtugon sa pandemyang COVID-19 ay masasabing tunay na bayanihan na pinangunahan ng ating Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, kaakibat ang iba't ibang sektor ng ating lipunan. Sinikap natin iangat ang ating health capacities upang maprotektahan ang bawat Pilipino mula sa COVID-19 at iba pang emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases at masigurong ang ating mga serbisyong pangkalusugan ay accessible sa lahat. Pinalawak natin ang ating surveillance and diagnostic capacity at nagtaguyod ng laboratory at healthcare provider networks. Noong simula, isang laboratorio lang po ang meron tayo. Ngayon po ay meron na tayong 85 testing labs. Meron tayong higit sa 15,000 kama sa mga ospital para sa COVID-19. Iba pa rito ang higit na 100,000 kama sa ating quarantine facilities o ang mga temporary treatment and monitoring facilities para sa ating mga kababayang may mild symptoms. Yung mga pagaling na at yung mga naghihintay ng test results. Bilang technical at regulatory agency, pinagsama-sama natin ang mga pinakamahuhusay na eksperto sa bansa upang mabigyan tayo ng masusing rekomendasyon base sa best available evidence. Atin inorganisa ang Technical Advisory Group at Sub-Technical Working Group on Data Analytics upang suportahan ang national government sa pag-manage at pag-translate ng mga datos upang maging polisiya at mga guideline na tutugon sa pangangailangan ng mga tao. Naglabas din tayo ng mga polisiya para mabigyan direksyon ang ating pagtahak sa new normal. Meron tayong minimum public health standards na naglalayong gabayan ang publiko at iba't ibang sektor sa pag-implement ng mga preventive strategies katulad ng tamang paghuhugas ng mga kamay, ang pagsuot ng mask at pagdistansya sa 1 metro para maibsan ang banta ng COVID-19. Ang minimum health system capacity standards naman ang naglatag ng minimum targets para sa health, human resources, infrastructure and equipment, and commodities and supplies para masiguro na ang lahat ng suspect, probable at confirmed COVID-19 cases pati na rin ang close contacts ay nadidetect, isolate, at treat. Bilang bahagi ng ating strategic communication, ginamit natin platform ang traditional at emerging media upang ipabatid ang mahalagang impormasyon, kalusugan sa mga mamamayan. Sa pamamagitan ng mga daily presser, DOH COVID Tracker at data drops, binigyan natin ng karampatan at napapanahong impormasyon ang publiko. Inilunsad din natin ang BIDA campaign bilang bahagi ng ating mga strategic communication initiatives upang maipabatid ang mahalagang impormasyon, pangkalusugan at mahikayat ang publiko na magsagawa ng mga mahalagang practice upang maiwasan ang pagkalat ng COVID. B. Bawal ang walang mask. I. Isanitize ang kamay. Iwas hawak sa mga bagay. Ang D naman, dumistansya ng 1 metro. A. Alamin ang totoo. Habang tayo po ay nakikibaka sa pandemyang ito, kailangan natin siguraduhin na atin ma-deliver ang mandato ng universal healthcare kung saan tayo ay magsishift sa primary care-oriented, integrated healthcare delivery network. Ngayon natin pinaiigting ang pag-integrate ng Philippine Health Facilities Development Plan at Human Resources for Health Master Plan. At habang tayo ay nagsisikap na bumangon muli, binubuo naman natin ang ating kapasidad na palakasin ang ating public health system, partikular na ang ating mga local government unit bilang mga primary responders. Atin isinusulong ang pagtatayo ng ating sariling Philippine Center for Disease Control and Prevention, kasama ang pinalawak na Health Promotion Bureau. At habang hindi pa available ang bakuna para sa COVID-19, atin pinalalakas ang ating vaccine delivery system bilang paghahanda sa malawakang pagbabakuna sa ating populasyon. Kasama rito ang ating sistema para sa mga bakunang kasama sa ating National Immunization Program. Tayo ay nagsusumikap na magtaguyod ng health system na makatugon na nagbabagong pangangailangan ng mga Pilipino na hindi lamang passive beneficiaries of health services, kung hindi aktibo nangangalaga sa kanilang kalusugan at nagtataguyod ng kanilang karapatang pangkalusugan. Bilang isang nagkakaisang bansa, ating tatahakin ang universal healthcare bilang susi sa ating new normal.
Thank you so much, Secretary Duque. Ang susunod po na katanungan ay para po kay Silvestre Belio III, Secretary of the Department of Labor and Employment. What livelihood programs or employment opportunities are available for displaced OFWs?
Thank you, Sec Martin. Marami po kaming programa para sa ating mga OFWs. Unang-una, pagbalik, meron kaming Balik Pilipinas, Balik Hanap Buhay. Bibigyan namin agad dyan ng 20,000 cash for a livelihood project na kanilang pipiliin. Kadalasan, karinderya, kadalasan yung welding shop, yun ang ginagawa nila. We also have a very good employment opportunity for OFWs, lalong-lalo na mga may teaching experience or proficiency. Ito yung sa Pilipinas, ikaw ang mom and sir. Kapartner ko dito, yung seatmate ko si Secretary Liling, na meron kaming usapan doon sa Memorandum of Agreement na yung aming OFWs ay dapat bigyan ng priority sa teaching profession nila. Now, in addition to that, Sec Martin, mga kasamahan ko sa kabinete, marami pa kaming programa para siguraduhin natin na magkakaroon ng trabaho, bagamat pandemic mode tayo ngayon, kagaya nung sa pag-uusap namin ni Secretary Villar, Secretary Artugade, at saka yung partner ko, si Secretary Mon Lopez, doon sa full implementation ng Build Infrastructure Project of the President. Dito magkakaroon ng maraming project na implement, and this will revive yung ating...
Dito sa number mo, anong...
Yung this will revive the construction industry, and we hope to generate not less than 400,000 working opportunities. Kausap namin dito yung mga leaders ng construction industry, and they committed to us that they will not only hire our construction workers, they will see to it na ma-maximize yung availability of work by manualizing yung work rather than mechanizing the work. So sa halip na bibili ng bako, mag-hire na lang ng additional 50 workers. Meron din tayong programa na yung DOLE Integrated Livelihood Program. Ito yung bibigyan namin ng livelihood project ang mga OFWs, even yung mga ordinary workers, bibigyan din namin, and we will also provide opportunities like giving them or extending to them 250 to 1 million loan at very minimal interest para sa ganun ay makapasok sila sa negosyo. Ayun po, yun po ang aming mga plano para sa ating OFW. At tinitiyak namin, lalong-lalo na sa BPO, yung call centers, we have already an invitation for not less than 6,000 call center agents, and we requested our mga nasa industry ng BPO na kung maaari i-prioritize nila yung mga OFWs natin. Yun lang, Sec Martin. Thank you very much.
Salamat, Sec Bebot Bello. Ang susunod po natin na katanungan ay para po sa TESDA kay Secretary Isidro La Peña. How can TESDA assist the vulnerable and marginalized sectors, especially in this time of pandemic where reaching them becomes more difficult due to social or physical distancing guidelines in place? How can we ensure their unhampered access to TESDA programs and services?
Maraming salamat, Secretary Martin, at saka sa mga kasamaan ko sa kabinete. Magandang tanghali po sa inyong lahat. Ang TESDA, being the lead agency for the Poverty Reduction, Livelihood and Employment Cluster, or PRLEC, ng National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, is in close coordination with the local government units and in support of our LGUs and other PRLEC member agencies in convergence in livelihood programs for the more affected and vulnerable communities, such as the indigenous people and their communities, mga former rebels, at ang mga beneficiaries ng Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. Ang TESDA training centers natin have assumed the provision of programs and services and are now going to the communities following the approval of IATF in the resolution number 47, June 19, dated June 19, 2020. On agriculture and food production, we engage communities in organic crops farming and livestock production through training production. Of course, this is in partnership, in close coordination, collaboration with the Department of Agriculture. This is to ensure food security and sustainability as their produce is a viable food source, especially during this time of pandemic. Marketing programs are also included in the trainings to empower these communities to be able to effectively sell their products, or what we call agripreneurs, agripreneurship. Several projects are being undertaken, particularly in the identified priority barangays all over the country, as part of the whole-of-nation approach to end local communist armed conflict. One success story is about the AGAC centers in Region 11. AGAC stands for Amuma o Giya Alang sa Kahumagaway, or Care and Guide for Stability Centers. The AGAC Center, which is a product of public-private collaboration, is established to provide the IPs access to daily necessities such as electricity, communication, and even support for our economic activities. The centers are equipped with solar power generators and computer wireless connectivity. At present, 7 AGAC centers have been established in Davao region. We also have skills training tailor-fit for the IPs to support their sustainable development while preserving their culture. These are embroidery, mat weaving, basket weaving, beadworks, and handloom weaving are some of our training for the IPs. And we are also expanding our livelihood assistance through the project IPs. Ang ibig sabihin ng IPs ay indigenous people empowered as agripreneurs towards a collective end in collaboration with the National Commission on Indigenous People. An orientation on the pandemic crisis and how to be protected from the virus through proper sanitation and hygiene is also included in the trainings provided by TESDA. We are also working with the Department of National Defense and the Philippine National Police to train uniformed personnel so that they could eventually provide trainings to our former rebels, to our indigenous peoples in their area of assignment. As of 13 July 2020, more than 300 uniformed personnel have undergone trainings on various qualifications. This is bringing the uniformed personnel closer to our IP communities.
Thank you so much, Secretary La Peña. Ang susunod po natin na katanungan ay para po kay Undersecretary Jesus Mateo ng DepEd. Can the government set up an online learning center per barangay with complete gadgets and Wi-Fi connections where students within the barangay may go to attend virtual classes from the respective schools, in which the setup can be similar to commercial computer centers or computer shops?
Secretary Andelar? Yeah, Secretary Briones is here. Maybe we can request Secretary Briones. Ma'am Liling is here, sir.
Yes, good afternoon sa ating lahat. Magandang tanghali at mayong udto ka natong tanan, mga bisoy, mga bisdak. I'm very happy to share with you what the DepEd has accomplished during this period of pandemic, which has harmed not only the health status of our people, but also our economy. We have always said education must continue and our learners cannot wait. And so our most important announcement, which we made as early as April, is that classes, schools in basic education will open on August 24. We have already developed as early as April also our learning continuity program, which means that learning will continue, COVID or no COVID, economic difficulties or no economic difficulties, may bagyo, may lindol, o may baha, patuloy ang edukasyon. Now, ang latest enrollment numbers natin, tomorrow will be the last day of enrollment, but there are also provisions for late enrollment, which are already in department issuances. As of this morning, practically 3/4 of our enrollees last year have returned. So we have a total already of 20,220,507 learners who are already registered with us. And more will be coming tomorrow, and many more will even take advantage of the late enrollment policy of DepEd, which has always been there. Also, I'm happy to report that for our alternative learning systems, 257,220 learners have enrolled in spite of the fact that our working learners, itong mga nawala ng trabaho, are still in the process of adjustment to their new situation. They have enrolled also in our program. We say that education must continue. To go to the question about gadgets, ang ating strategy dito, dahil ang ating presidente, nag-declare siya ng policy na walang face-to-face learning muna hanggat hindi pa natin fully controlled ang COVID pandemic. Kaya ang ating polisiya ay blended learning, kung saan mayroon tayong online platforms, nearly 9 million nakasubscribers sa ating online platforms, kung saan nandoon ang lahat ng mga materials natin. Pwedeng gamitin ang ating mga gadgets, pwedeng gamitin ang cellphones. There are 179 million cell phones all over the country. Many of our children and our teachers also have gadgets, but we are not insisting that they go online kasi may ibang alternatibo. Kung hindi pwede ang online, ang sabi namin, nandyan ang telebisyon, nandyan ang radyo. Right now, busy kami, abalang-abala kami na nakikipag-coordinate sa PCOO para ma-expand, para magamit ang kanilang radio and television facilities. Ina-assess din namin ang napakaraming offers ng both public and private sector providers para sa alternative ways of sharing learning. Pagkatapos, kung hindi talaga pwede, kung walang connectivity, walang radyo, walang platform, walang cellphone, then yung sinasabi nating nandiyan naman yung It's Better manual. Kaya mayroon tayong mga printed modular materials na i-distribute, i-deliver sa mga bahay-bahay ng ating mga eskwelahan sa tulong ng ating mga local governments. So ibig ko sabihin, ang Sec Martin, hindi pinipilit ang mga bata na mag-online sila kung hindi talaga pwede ang online dahil maraming ibang paraan na matuturuan sila without necessarily going online. As a matter of fact, abalang-abala kami ngayon para handain ang mga ating mga modular learning materials at this time. At saka sinubukan namin dahil maraming nagsasabi hindi kaya ng DepEd, hindi nila makayanan itong napakalaking trabaho. Nagkaroon kami ng simulation tryout sa city ng Navotas with the cooperation and the full support of Congressman Tiangco and Mayor Tiangco, as well as the parents, lahat-lahat nag-cooperate. And it is a very successful simulation, both kindergarten, high school, saka may mga private schools ngayon na nag-simulate na sila o nag-umpisa na sila talaga sa blended. So, wag mag-worry masyado ang parents at mga children kung wala silang gadgets. Pero we are doing everything dahil ang DBM naman ay very supportive. Sinabi na kanina na nagbigay sila ng support ng 10.9 billion for our learning materials. Si Secretary Dominguez naman ay nangangampanya para sa additional gadgets through the international community. At humingi din siya ng mga donations ng radios para sa mga lugar na walang continuity. So ang assurance ko, Sec Martin, as Secretary of Education, hindi pinipilit yung online dahil marami pang choices. nandyan ang telebisyon, nandyan ang radyo, nandyan ang manual, at nandyan ang mga teachers na mag-cooperate sa parents para magiging successful ito. Pero ang importante, patuloy ang edukasyon. Bubuksan ang ating classes on August 24. Ang question ay handa ba ang DepEd? Ang DepEd ay handa na. Nakita namin yan sa simulation. It will work. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat, Secretary Liling Briones. Ang susunod na katanungan po naman ay para kay DILG Secretary Ed Anyo. Secretary, on strengthening the contact tracing efforts for COVID-19, how will you address the sudden surge in the number of COVID-19 cases in the country given the current capacity of the government in contact tracing?
Thank you, Secretary Martin. First of all, tayo ay nag-issue ng Memo Circular 77 sa local government units na yung pagkakabuo ng LGU Task Force Against COVID-19 sapagkat ang ating mga local chief executives ang siyang namumuna sa task force na to at ang pinaka-importante dito ay ang contact tracing teams. No? Ang ating weapon talaga para sa COVID ay ang magaling na contact tracing, ang ating pag-test at ang paggawa ng mga isolation facilities at syempre yung treatment at referral sa mga hospitals. So sa ngayon, meron tayong a total of 4,818 contact tracing teams at binubuo ng 65,574. Kung nagsimula tayo noong March ay almost 219 lang yung ating contact tracers, no? Kukunti. So ngayon 65,574. Pero kailangan pa rin natin ng around 80,000 na contact tracers. Kung kaya tayo ay magre-recruit o mag-hire ng additional 50,000 contact tracing na itatalaga natin sa iba't ibang lugar ng ating Pilipinas. At ito ay hinintay lang natin yung budget nito. Pero ang ating mga areas katulad ng Cebu, National Capital Region, ay patuloy naman na nag-hire ng contact tracers sa programa ng kanilang budget. At ito ay sisiguraduhin natin na magiging epektibo sapagkat dito nakasalalay kung saan natin makikita yung mga contacts, close contacts, yung mga suspects, at para matest sila at mailagay natin sa isolation facilities. Sa ngayon, tulong-tulong ang iba't ibang ahensya, no? Katulad ng SESO, yung mga ATLESO, yung ating tinatawag na City or Local Epidemiological Surveillance Units, ang ating CIDG, ang ating Philippine National Police, Bureau of Fire Protection, ang ating AFP, ang mga health workers, mga volunteers. No? At itong mga to ay bubuo ngayon sa ating kasalukuyang contact tracing teams. At nakatalaga ito, bawat barangay dapat meron. Sa mga business centers, dapat meron din nakatutok dyan na separate na contact tracing teams. At sisiguraduhin natin na makipag-ugnayan tayo sa community. At sigurado natin na matitrace natin at matitest natin at finally ay ma-isolate natin. So for the next coming days, weeks and months, lalo pa tayong magpapaigting at inaasahan natin, mayroon din tayong mga magbibigyan ng trabaho kapag nakapag-hire tayo ng additional 50,000 na contact tracers.
Secretary Ed Anyo, thank you so much. Ang susunod po na katanungan ay para po kay DBM Secretary Wendell Avisado. Secretary Avisado, is there enough budget for upskilling, transitioning to digital economy to boost the economy in the long term?
Hindi. Maraming salamat po sa katanungan, Secretary Martin. Ang sagot po natin ay meron po.
We have, as a matter of fact, one of the priorities under the 2021 proposed national budget is really in the matter of transition. Naman po, for next year, the government plans to fast-track programs that will promote digitalization of the economy, the health sector, the government and social assistance, among others. For instance, there will be a budget allotted for distance learning under the Department of the Medicine Kits, as well as for the conduct of capability building and continuous learning programs, which includes the use of e-learning platforms and digital upskilling. There will also be an increase in the budget for the Philippine Identification System to fast-track its implementation. At ito po at iba pang mga kaakibat na programa that will upskill the government's capability to transition to a digital economy is one of the major concerns of our government, Secretary Martin.
Secretary Wendell Avisado, maraming salamat po. Ang susunod po na katanungan ay para po kay Assistant Secretary Chris Sablan ng PCOO at Executive Director ng Freedom of Information. How can the government improve transparency and improve the speed of delivery or delivering public information towards the end of the administration's term?
Thank you so much po, Secretary Martin. We're very proud po at the PCOO that we're able to run the Freedom of Information program the way the President envisioned it back in July 2016. But in order to make it faster, we need to adopt a whole-of-government approach. Right now, the executive order is limited only to the executive branch, and we would like it to cover the entire government, including our judiciary, our Congress, our constitutional commissions, as well as our local government units. That's why we are calling on Congress to finally pass the Freedom of Information law within the term of the President. In addition to that, Secretary Martin, we need to improve our records management program. So tying up with the DICT and the National Archives of the Philippines, we will try to improve our digital records management. Those are the ways on how we can disclose information faster to the citizens. Thank you po.
Much, Secretary or Assistant Secretary Chris Sablan. Our next question is for NEDA under Secretary Rosemary Edilion. What is the status of the national ID system?
Yes, good afternoon, Secretary Andanar. With respect to the status, sa ngayon po talagang pina-fast track po ang implementation of the national ID. In fact, alam po ni Sec Carl na ito yung isa sa marching orders sa kanya ni Presidente. So right now, nandun na po sa stage na yung tinatawag natin na ABIS, the Automated Biometric Information System, is already being procured, and the PSA is also being assisted by the DICT para mapabilis po yung pag-evaluate ng mga magdadatingan ng mga bids na ito. So we're hoping po talaga na talagang fighting target po ng PSA, and like I said, nakatutok dito si Sec Carl, that by the end of the year we will have registered at least 5 million individuals. And ang mangyayari po nito ay sisikapin po ng mga representing 5 million households po ito para nun makatulong to ng husto in the distribution of assistance programs ng ating gobyerno. Thank you po.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong sagot, Undersecretary De Leon. Ang susunod po natin na katanungan ngayong hapon ay para po kay Secretary Saidamen Pangarungan. Secretary, ito po yung tanong. Is there a clear information dissemination mechanism for the National Action Plan on health or COVID-19 response, especially for Mindanao?
Salamat, Secretary Martin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Yes, the National Task Force spearheads the implementation of the National Action Plan against COVID-19 through the regional task forces. Now, for the 4 million Muslims who live within the BARM, we have the Chief Minister of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, who is designated as chair of the regional task force. For the other 8 million Muslims who live outside the BARM, we have the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos that created recently regional task forces for its 11 regional offices and 10 field offices that responded to all calls for help and assistance to our Muslim communities nationwide. So far, the regional task forces of the NCMF have responded to calls for assistance to more than 140,000 Muslim beneficiaries nationwide. This is in the form of relief and food assistance to them, as well as burial assistance and assistance to stranded tabligs, students here and abroad, as well as locally stranded individuals. The regional task forces also adopts the policy of the mandatory public disclosure of personal information relating to concerns on COVID-19 response. Yun po, salamat.
Maraming salamat po, Secretary Pangarungan. Ang ating susunod na katanungan po ay para sa Department of Trade and Industry, Secretary Mon Lopez. Given the rising number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the country, what measures has DTI taken to ensure that the reopening and increased operations of business or businesses are safe amid the ongoing pandemic?
Magandang hapon po, Sec Martin, at sa atin pong mga kasama sa gobyerno, sa inyo po lahat. Ang DTI po, together with DOLE, with DOH, sama na rin po ang Department of Tourism and DILG, marami na po tayong nilabas sa mga guidelines regarding the minimum health protocols para po sa mga iba-ibang establishmento. Ito po, it will cover all factories, offices, private establishments. Kasama na rin po yung mga recently reopened sectors na dati po ay nasa Category 4 or magbubukas lamang sa modified DCQ. So balit inallow na po ng IATF na magbukas kahit 30% operating capacity under DCQ. So kasama po dyan yung mga dine-in, restaurants, and also yung mga barbershops and salons. So meron pong mga kanya-kanyang minimum health protocol. At isa po sa pinaiigting, sinisigurado pong strict compliance ay ito pong mga health protocols natin so that we can really safely reopen the economy. We all realize na ang virus po will be here to stay and therefore we will just have to live with it, but we will have to manage and control its spread by making sure na may strict compliance po dito sa protocol na ito. Tayo po, araw-araw po, everyday po ang audit po dyan. Iba-iba po. We cover about 400 establishments every day and the results we're getting are very encouraging. Mga 92% to 100% compliance for each protocol. Kunwari po yung pagsuot ng mask, pagsunod po sa sanitation and hand washing, yung social distancing, pati po sa mga lamesa at mga sirya. Lahat po na comply po yon, and that is the reason po as part of our policy to gradually reopen. Ito po ay inaalaw po natin ngayon dahil po sa mataas na compliance ng ito po mga protocol na to. So, despite all these numbers that you're showing, basically we are allowing more reopening, let's say from 30% to 50% under DCQ. Ito po mga barbershops and salons. As well as allowing other services, care-cutting services, na safe pa rin naman po. And in the dining and restaurants din po, we will allow 30% to 50% under DCQ starting July 21. Again, with strict health protocols, social distancing, sanitation, wearing of masks, lalo na syempre dun sa pag-time na hindi ka kumakain. And of course, we're adding some more proper ventilation and exhaust system in the establishment, and other optional measures like putting clear acrylic dividers between tables, or even having air purifiers. No? And well, as part of our effort then reopen yung economy, we are requesting our mga local government units, kung pwede po ay ma-extend lang po yung curfew nila, ibig sabihin kung pwedeng a little later, para po ma-allow yung a much later operating hours, kahit po mga up to 11 or 12 midnight po yung curfew, para we can allow more operations po, because more operations means mas malaki po ang income po ng ating mga workers na nandoon. Makakailang turnover pa po yan sa mga establishments na ito. Anyway, ang maximum opening naman po, depende rin po sa kanya-kanyang mga negosyo to the extent na may tao pa dun sa lugar na yon. Pero may maximum naman po tayong tinitingnan dito. Maybe maximum of 10 or 11 as operating hours dito po sa mga establishmento na to. Provided po, again, with very strict health protocol. Thank you, Sec. Martin.
Maraming salamat, Secretary Mon Lopez ng DTI. And our last question ay para po kay Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles. With the last 2 years in office, assuring that the roadmap of the clusters are in place despite the COVID-19?
Salamat, Sec. Martin. Actually, totoo nga, lahat ng mga clusters po natin ay meron po silang sariling roadmap na isinumite at inapprove nga po ng buong gabinete at pati na rin si Pangulong Duterte. Sa ganung paraan, very clearly indicated kung ano yung key performance indicators, ang measurements natin, ang matrix natin, para malaman kung nagsasucceed ba ang bawat cluster dun sa kanyang mga commitments, lalong-lalo na sa mga targets and goals and objectives ng ating administrasyon at pati na rin ni Pangulong Duterte. Pero dahil sa COVID-19, makikita po natin na halos maraming mga programa, proyekto at activities ng iba't ibang cluster ang nag-expand. Tulad na rin yung Human Development and Poverty Reduction Cluster kung saan nadagdagan ang mga programa ng gobyerno bilang pagtugon sa mga pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan, especially sa health aspect at sa social protection aspect. Ganon din nangyari sa participatory governance cluster. In fact, mas importante na nga ang magiging mechanism at in-depth surveys and interviews para malaman kung ano yung mga panibagong pangangailangan ng ating taong bayan para mas ma-update pa natin ang ating cluster roadmaps. At timing lang din po dahil ating Philippine Development Plan or PDP ay right now undergoing updating for the midterm. At dahil sa nangyari sa COVID-19, ilalagay na po natin dun sa PDP yung mga panibagong pangangailangan ng ating tao. Ganon din habang ina-update natin ang lahat ng mga programa, proyekto at activities ng government para tulungan ang ating mga kababayan, lalong-lalo na ngayong panahon ng pandemya. So dito po, ito po yung gagawin natin para mas magiging relevant po ang ating mga clusters sa pagtugon sa ating bayan at para tuloy-tuloy pa rin po ang pag-accomplish natin ng lahat ng mga targets, goals, and objectives ni Pangulong Duterte.
Salamat, Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles. Maraming salamat din po sa ating mga Cabinet Secretaries. Maraming salamat din sa mga nagbigay ng kanilang mga katanungan. Ang ating bansa po ay dumanas ng mga pagsubok. Simula pa lamang ng taon, mga pagsubok na nangailangan ng pamumunog may tapang, malasakit at paninindigan. Mga pagsubok na nagpatatag sa atin bilang isang bayan. Ngayon, ano ba ang susunod nating hakbang? Narito ang mensahe ni Narito ang mensahe ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
My fellow Filipinos, the accomplishments that we have just presented to you in this pre-SONA forum are the fruits of our collective efforts to foster real, lasting, and meaningful change. Numerous trials have tested our resolve these past few years, but because of our unity and bayanihan as a people. As we look to the future with much hope and positivity, let us continue to work together to build a better and more prosperous Philippines, and for ourselves and the next generation of Filipinos. Mabuhay ang Republika ng Pilipinas.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo na nasa tahanan, na nanonood at sumusubaybay sa ating pre-SONA forum. Sa mga secretaries na walang sawang sumusuporta po at nakikisa, salamat po. Huwag kayong aalis dahil pagkatapos ng programang ito ay meron tayong virtual presser kung saan mga katanungan naman na mga kasama natin sa media ang sasagutin ng ating mga butihing lingkod bayan. Sa susunod na linggo, atin namang makakasama ang Climate Change Adaptation, Mitigation, and Disaster Risk Reduction Cluster at ang Security, Justice, and Peace Cluster. See you next week. Ito po si Secretary Martin Andanar para sa Tatak ng Pagbabago 2020, the Pre-SONA Forum.
Patuloy pa rin ang laban natin sa COVID-19. And together, we can beat the solusyon.
B. Bawal walang mask.
I. Isanitize sa mga kamay. Iwas hawak sa mga bagay.
D. Kumistansya ng 1 metro.
A. Alamin ang totoong impormasyon tungkol sa COVID-19.
Sa COVID-19.
Kaya natin to. Kaya natin to.
Sama-sama nating nasaksihan ang mga sakunang hinarap ng ating bansa. At sa oras ng kalamidad, maging handa, alerto at kalmado. Tandaan, iba yung pag-iingat ang kailangan upang masiguro ang inyong kaligtasan. Isang mensahe ngayong Disaster Consciousness Month mula sa PTV. Ang mga hinaing na inyong itinawag sa opisyal na linya ng pamahalaan, patuloy naming tutugunan at bibigyang aksyon. Ang inyong mga tanong, sabay-sabay nating hahanapan ng kasagutan kasama ang iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno. Dahil sa gitna ng laban na kinakaharap ng buong bayan, narito pa rin ang programang handang makinig sa boses ng bawat mamamayang Pilipino. Digo 8888 Hotline. Kasama si Asek Chris Roman, Trixie Jaafar at Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo. Dito lang sa PTV. Handog namin sa inyo para sa bayan. Sa muli nating pagpasok sa ating mga opisina, narito ang ilang mga gabay pangkaligtasan upang masugpo ang paglaganap ng COVID-19. Palagi ang i-disinfect ang mga bagay na madalas hinahawakan, pati na ang mga sasakyan at kagamitang pumapasok sa lugar ng operasyon. Mag-assign ng isang safety officer na siyang magmamonitor sa pagsunod sa mga patakaran at magre-report ng mga suspect case. Kung magpapapila sa loob ng tanggapan, magtalaga ng mga roving officer na magpapatupad ng physical distancing sa mga tao. Iengganyo ang mga empleyado na kumain na lamang sa kanilang mga lugar o gumawa ng schedule para hindi magsiksika ng mga tao sa silid kainan. Laging i-disinfect ang kusina, kantin at cafeteria. At magbigay ng kaukulang suporta sa mga manggagawa tulad ng mga gamot, bitamina, counseling at mas malawak na health insurance package. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to!
The purpose of the Freedom of Information Project Management Office in conducting campus caravans is to encourage our students to be able to utilize the FOI portal as a research tool. You have to go to www.foi.gov.ph, then create an account. You have to fill in the details. You attach your ID, then you verify your email address. Then afterwards, you can choose your agency, then you ask your question. Simple as that.
Pakalaking tulong sa amin na malaman yung mga ganitong bagay kasi especially that I'm also a journalist, mahalaga na makagather ka talaga yung mga totoong information.
Patuloy pa rin ang laban natin sa COVID-19. And together, we can beat the solusyon.
B. Bawal walang mask.
I. Isanitize sa mga kamay. Iwas hawak sa mga bagay.
D. Dumistansya ng 1 metro.
A. Alamin ang totoong impormasyon tungkol sa COVID-19.
Protektahan natin ang sarili at mga mahal sa buhay.
BIDA. Be the solusyon sa COVID-19.
Nagtuturo po ako dito sa loob ng radio community po. Base po sa aking experience po, nung bata pa ako hanggang sa lumalaki na po ako, yung mga kasamahan namin pumunta po dito sa akin. Nagpapabasa po sila ng mga reseta po galing sa doktor. Paminsan-minsan kinukuha din nila ako para mag-translate po ako doon sa STMC kasi hindi daw sila marunong mag-Bisaya.